Hello, my name is David O'Brien. And I'm here for your success in the areas of purity. Hello and welcome back to the Purity Forum broadcast. My name is David O'Brien, the Bondage Breaker. I'm glad to be here with you again today. And today I'm talking about the subject, girls understand hurt men. I want you to understand, those of you who are in school, in middle school, high school, what men are like sometimes behind closed door in private. Men seem strong. In fact, in some ways, men are stronger than women, obviously. Physically speaking, of course, women usually hit puberty first, but a young man hits puberty and all of a sudden he's very strong, he grows. But what you need to understand is, just as women have weaknesses as far as the physical body compared to a man, a woman is exactly what she's supposed to be. She doesn't have to be any stronger than that. She has the strength she needs. It is a different kind of strength, even physically. But then each of them have differences and different weaknesses mentally, emotionally. And men have weaknesses for the image of woman or women, okay? Young men, the way they see a woman is very different than the way you girls see a woman or kids see a woman. Now, if kids are tampered with early, exposed early to things to smut, have you heard the word smut before? If they're exposed early to things that really has no right to pass their boundaries of their life, and if those things get into their head, like it did for, so many of us as kids, then what happens is those things start to torment those kids and affect those kids at night when they're going to sleep. Other times, just at times, it just kind of shows up every once in a while and messes with the child. So that's a problem. That's terrible, and that's freeable. Very, very freeable. It's freeable by light. Light comes and just disinfects that. In fact, if that's you, it'll happen for you. And so just stick around with what I have to say and it'll happen. It's easy. It just rubs off. But the thing is, for young men, when they start to reach puberty and they start to grow, differently in their brain, their mind, their body, God is preparing the body. He set the body up that around that age to prepare itself for reproduction. Hello? That's what we call in modern day world sex, but it means sexual intercourse, intimacy. In other words, two people coming together, a man and woman become one again. Just physically, the way it's set up. That's obviously what happens, but the man's body starts to change toward the ability to do that and have that. And if the man's not careful, his hormones and the way they're connected to his brain can make him go wild in all different directions in pursuit of the new desires he has for women, And so physical desires, mental desires. And when I said understand hurt men, young men and older men become vulnerable when they've gone through puberty. They are vulnerable. They're weaker in the area of the image of women or the image of people. I'm not going to talk about women's weaknesses now. No, I'm talking about young men's. Because women, you need to know what you're dating. You need to know that who's sitting across from you at that diner is not just. Don't just look at the body, the person's look. That is an immature way of judging people. Don't look at the outward. Figure out and understand what's on the inside or could be on the inside. And I'm teaching you some of that because if someone is hurt, if a young man's been hurt, his mind has been twisted and poisoned. And I'm telling you, there's some of that you women cannot help. He's got to get help from above. and he's going to need some advising and some help from an older man or older men, an older woman perhaps, but they've got to speak and bring the truth that goes through his brain and just pushes out nasty stuff that got stuck up in there. And it's very doable. Something I do, you know what I mean? But it's doable. But don't be naive, women. Because if that guy's got that going on inside of his head, his one desire is to satisfy sexual need, which is not really a need. But at that time in his life, if he was been abused in his brain by women stripping on camera and all that stuff, you know what I mean? I don't have to get too graphic. But basically, if he's been tainted, if he's been attracted wrongly, there is a spirit that took hold of his inner being, his weak, his basically tender, exposed soul and brain, and has pulled him toward itself. And that thing is very painful. And that thing is very dangerous toward you, women. Because if you listen to that guy, see, you got to understand addictions. Addictions, if someone's addicted to heroin or cocaine, or especially something like crack cocaine or meth, then what happens is their brain kind of takes over and makes them lie and do all kinds of things, cheat, and even betray and lie and steal from their mothers. Very few men will do that, but they'll do it if they have that control there on the control center of the brain, pleasure center of the brain, and it's hurting them badly. And guess what? It's embedding deeper inside too. Now that, my friends, is what happens when young men are hurt by pornography, by all those things. Okay? They could be abused by another person. I won't say male, female. It could be either one. And what happens is it can hurt them and make them have double motives, duplicity. And then when they talk to you and they act, a man who's hurt like that, who's just trying to satisfy his brain, and he's not thinking of you, he's not loving you. Though what the test is, if a man wants to marry you, to be honest, that's it. And that takes time getting to know you a bit, usually. But the point being is that's the full commitment. And then that doesn't mean you're going to go for him. The point being is you have to wait until it's really time. You have to wait until it's ready. You know what I mean? The relationship is fully ready, because otherwise that tenderness and the not being ready, and then if you follow the crowd, if you follow what they do, I mean, they're just totally lied to. You just, oh my goodness. Then what's going to happen is, listen, one of those young men, they look good, they're popular, whatever, they treat you nice, you feel good because of that, and that could be a weakness of women. But the thing is, they're trying to magnetize and pull you, but all they want is to get in your panties, to be honest. All they want. Now, that's not all men. That's a percentage of those who've been abused, okay? Because they've become addicted with the wrong images that took control of their mind. So what do? Love them from a distance. Keep a good boundary around yourself. Watch, test. It doesn't mean they can't get help, but if they're not fully getting help and moving in that direction, you got to keep a big block, or they're going to use you and they'll move on. And that's not a place for you to be, okay?